I'm used to standing up as a teacher, but I'm a retired teacher. So. Right, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to the meeting. My background is, an MA in War Studies as my principal, branch of the MA. And over the years, I've been involved in research for an RAF memorial in Lincolnshire, plus also Smethwick in the West Midlands, where I'm a teacher, and the War Memorial there. I was responsible for all the names on it, etc. When I came to Droitwich 27 years ago, I decided, obviously, I took an interest in the War Memorial, the Second World War Memorial, and I carried out research over a period of about 5-6 years on each of the 51 names on the Droitwich War Memorial. My primary sources were the Commonwealth War Graves registers, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, standard printout on all those who gave their lives in the Second World War. The other principal source, and a very useful one, was the Droitwich Guardian newspaper, which is available on microfilm in the library. And I trawled from 1939 all the way through 1947, checking on details. And as the deceased turned up, like George Bateman here, there was a summary in the newspaper with a photo, plus also the printout. So all of those are now in the Heritage Centre, 2 files, all the printouts for every single name. There was one name I could not find any details for, and that was a K. Watson. And when I went trawled K. Watson's on the memorial, and when I trawled through the Commonwealth War Grave registers, I came across 4 K. Watsons, all in the RAF, and one of them turned out was buried at Morton in the Marsh. So I'm presuming that is the K. Watson that's on the memorial. So the printout from the actual microfilm, I had to obtain, obviously the microfilm was transferred down to Worcester, and then they have the ability to be able to print these off. Otherwise, you just have to look on the screen in the Droitwich Library. Next, another. One of the printouts, and of course, of trawling through the microfilm was interesting. You got a copy of it. It was, is that right? You've got that one? It was, where is he? Here somewhere. Anyway, Sankey was his name. I got Sankey. Oh, here it is. So, a Corporal W.H. Sankey, which he was reported as being killed. And I could not find any record on the Commonwealth War Grave registers. So I contacted the CWGC. They had no records. So then through Councillor Morris, we put it out on the Droitwich Victorial. And that was very useful then. There were responses as well for some of the other names that are not on the memorial that I will refer to in a moment. It did turn out that W.H. Corporal Sankey, he died in 2013, and he was at the Coventry Charity Alms Houses. Yes, it's a care. He died there, 2013, and his daughter, apparently 83 years of age now, I think, lives in one of the flats opposite the Lido Park over there. So that was obviously that I reported back to the Commonwealth War Grave registers, and they were grateful for that. I provided them with that. Referred to that. So in the Droitwich Guardian, then, of course, I came across 5 names, and I believe you all have copies of those, if I'm right. And those names, as you can see, I don't intend to read through all the Droitwich Guardian pieces, but if you can take the first one, Flying Officer H.J. Jeffco, Droitwich Connections, he lived on Victoria Avenue, and we did have a response, didn't we, Councillor Morris, from Droitwich Victoria to that one. There was a response to that particular one from somebody who knew the family or whatever, I don't know. But that's a definite one. Then there's a Sergeant Robert Hall, Royal Ordnance Army Armoured Corps, and he was the husband of Mrs. Phyllis Hall, Droitwich. His wife's father was the landlord at the Rifleman's Arms, Droitwich. The next one I've got a question mark next to for a number of reasons. Captain Jack Haslam, Royal Artillery, he worked in Barclays Bank in Droitwich. His grandfather, James Taylor, was manager of the Brine Pass for 27 years. There's no next of kin, sorry, that I obtained from the Commonwealth War Grave.
Hold on,
Sorry.
There wasn't a Barclays Bank in Droitwich.
Thank you. Because on it does say
I
Barclays
don't-
Bank,
Ah,
but
it
not
doesn't say
Droitwich.
where.
Yes, you're right. I agree.
Barclays didn't come until about 1960s, and they soon went.
So I don't, yeah, you're correct on that, and
I'm pretty sure of that.
but it's the other connections. His next of kin, his mother and father lived in Ilford, Essex. I checked out on Ilford War Memorial, World War II, and there were no list of names, photographs of the memorial, etc. But there is a question mark next to that one. Does he deserve to be included? The only link, as you can see there, is his grandfather, James Taylor.
I would say no.
You would say correct. Fine. The next one I got a question mark as well. Private Douglas Patrick MacDonald, Worcester Regiment, a native of Droitwich, an old boy of Rashwood School. But if you look at the details for MacDonald, Private MacDonald, you will see there are links, but does he deserve to be on that? That would be up to.
It says native of Droitwich.
It says a native of Droitwich.
Yeah.
Finally, Bernard Belcher, the RAF, he was a trainee. He's a LAC, which is a craft mechanic, ground crew. That's it. He was a trainee pilot, I believe, and well, it did say that he was a trainee pilot, and his wife was Mrs. Belcher, 26 Oakland Avenue, Droitwich. So those are the 5 names. 2 with a question mark. 1 probably to be dismissed. James Jack Haslam, equally the other one a native of Droitwich. So presumably 1 should not be included. Makes sense. I mean, I can finalise on that. I mean, the primary sources of research with Commonwealth War Graves registers, plus also Droitwich Guardian. There are many other sources you can look to, but the primary one is Commonwealth War Grave registers. I did my initial research. I'll just give you an example. Local newspapers for those 5 names, and nothing came from that. That's going back about 10 years ago, by the way. Worcester Cathedral as well, the memorial books, which are underneath the main wall memorial, glass cabinets underneath, and mostly, yeah, I looked through all of those if there was any question mark over any of those. The interesting one is the Droitwich. Every town, village, city, after the war, 1945 ended, they set up committees to set up the war memorial in their town or city, etc. And most of those, they got in, getting over the war years, 1945, obviously, the end of the war, 46, 47, they began to, and I believe Droitwich Town Council set up their war memorial committee in 1949, and it went through to 1954, I believe. I did try and track down where those minutes were. I went to County Hall, no trace there, no records in their filing system, etc. So there must be minutes to that war memorial committee that definitely existed. Where they are, I don't know.
So, I don't know how far back Mark's records go, but Alan Macaulay was added after the Falklands War.
Yeah.
So there'll be some minutes of how his name was added. Will have to be somewhere, because I believe was his mother killed in an accident, visiting the actual war memorial. But he was the same age as me at school. So, yeah.
Just to clarify on the committee for the local war memorials, that will be the ear of the borough. So those records, it's pre-digital, that will be part of the county archive, that information now. We wouldn't have access to that
No.
here. But certainly the process of adding names, we have done it, as Councillor Davidson said, at least once. So
Right.
we can follow that, that's fine.
Well, when the committees were set up, they'd have a criteria of who's got the names of who's going to go on the memorial. Obviously, if born, bred in Droitwich, no question asked. But equally then, some might have lived in Bromsgrove, worked in Droitwich, were well established in Droitwich, equally Worcester, so on, the surrounding villages and towns. So they probably, the committee have to decide whether should they go on. And of course, there are many of the names on there, yes. You know, they have direct connections, I know for a fact that they have, but then others have sort of, you know, they married some a Droitwich girl and so on. And then, you know, it became very, very complicated. And then, of course, there were cases where relatives of the deceased, they just wanted to forget it. They wanted no memorials. They didn't want medal. You know, even those who served in the forces, often they just didn't want it. They wanted to forget it. So there was that example. Equally then, sometimes after the war, because there were a lot of movements during the war, people into Droitwich, so the ATS and so on, and other relative army folk, there was a lot of movement into Droitwich. So they were well established maybe for 5 years, they might be on them and so on. So the criteria wasn't always, you know, distinct, clear. So I think that I concluded.
Could I also suggest that you try the Masonic Museum at Rainbow Hill in Worcester? I know we do have an annual remembrance there, and there will be names. There was a Droitwich Masonic Hall at one point, and a Bromsgrove one, which now exists. It's all there. That's another way. And the other one, from my wife's experience as a teacher, and some of the schools do have a memorial. I know
Yes.
from when she was head of Plains Primary, they went on a trip and they went to visit some of the graves. So that's another sort of area.
Yeah.
I must thank you for this. I think it's fascinating what you're doing. It's really interesting. I think it's something we do need to pursue. Thank you very much for it.
There is one last point. Imperial War Museum as well, they set up at the last decade, so a War Memorials Trust to register all war memorials, be they in village halls, be they in Masonic halls, etc., obviously town centre. I googled it today and I went into the Imperial War Museum, Droitwich Town Council, the main one, sorry, Droitwich Town War Memorial is there with 5 or 6 photographs, plus details of it as well, according to the Imperial War Museum registered. And, you know, they do want to be notified if there are any damage or and there are funds apparently as well available towards war memorials. That's on that site, the Imperial War Museum. So it, you know, the cost factor could also, you know, you could look to that as an example. So.
Just a quick bit of information from me. You referred to the Henry Coventry Arms House charity earlier. Just to let you know that we have the yearbook for that, which started in 1688, but it's up to current time. So all of that is actually at the Hive, and if you were looking for a bit more information.
Oh, that's it. Brilliant. Yes.
The Civil War. Memorial.
Morris, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I think we should thank and congratulate Peter for the work that he's done. I know how careful and real detail he goes in terms of the research, so thank you, Peter. And I would recommend that we take the 5 names forward. And some may not be there, but it's worth, I think, researching and trying to get feedback on all 5 to see whether they're valid or not. So I would recommend that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, Councillor Hobbs.
Yes, I have a question. A lot of churches have plaques on the wall,
Yeah.
And that often will obviously, they name the people and their rank and so on, and it might be worth looking at the churches that have been built before.
I have been around all of them.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
And some churches were shut over the years, you go back and you were fortunate. But yes, they all do have magnificent plaques, some of them at
Yeah.
St. Augustine's, St. Nicholas, and all the parishes they have. Well, I'm not sure the structure of Droitwich during the war, but as regards Droitwich Parish, St. Andrews, but there are no graves there, no burials, I believe.
Yeah.
St. Andrews, but there was St. Mary's, and no war graves up there except for a First World War grave up by the Castle Pub. St. Nicholas, yes, and there are 5 war graves in St. Nicholas. St. Augustine's, there are 3. There's 2 in St. Nicholas, and amazingly, there's the largest cemetery, St. Peter's. There's no war graves, but these are war graves for the Second World War for those who died in accidents. They were on active service, maybe illness, like the one up at St. Augustine's. Morrissey, I've forgotten the name. But he was a sailor at HMS Hood, and that was sunk along with the Duke of York, another great battleship. But he had TB. He died of TB. Yeah, he's buried. So he would have obviously possibly perished on the HMS Hood. That was in the Far East.
Do we have a plaque here somewhere?
Just on plaques, the records, it may help just on research, but any plaques in churches has to be signed off by the bishop. So we had experienced this with John Hemming, one for the church 12 months ago, wasn't it? It took about 8 or 9 months to get that permission, but the person had to be signed off by the Bishop of Worcester to the diocese office, but they would have records of any plaques. It's very similar to planning permission. It has to be checked, materials, work and everything.
Yeah.
So they would have records of any in the churches around Droitwich Park.
So
that helps.
presumably go on this plaque as well.
That would be.
Go on,
It's just one-
do we need a seconder for Councillor Morris's suggestion,
Yes.
or is it automatic?
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to second
Second.
what Councillor Morris said.
So all those in favour? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make
Thank
sure
you very
we
much.
can help. No, thank you for the.
Thank you.
Good point.
Well spotted. Right, stand there. Sure, sounds better than mine, everything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Who's doing the Monday and Tuesday?
Somebody local from Cheltenham.
Right, item 6, Heritage Centre, to receive a verbal update on the refurbishment project stages.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So that's just a quick update really where we are. The building procurement, we're about to start that. So that'll be for 4 to 6 weeks through March into April. We've already got a delegation set up for selection of any tenders for that. We hope to finalise that this week into next. The actual design is progressing really well. So the design company that's already awarded that contract, they've got their second meeting on Wednesday with Becky and Catherine. So what they're doing is creating a vision. So transferring, obviously, the option we've chosen into reality. And then tomorrow we've got a deferred opening for the centre because we've invited all of the volunteers in. So I think most can come, which is really good to just be involved with the whole process. So that's for a couple of hours tomorrow morning, and how the changes are going to affect a better way of working going forward. And we've also invited Christine, who does the Visit Droitwich Spa website, because we're asking her to do it. Once we start the work, the tangible work, she can do a rolling update day by day on that. And that's been probably from June, July, online and media.
Right, okay, thank you. Item 7, Sunday band concert schedule. I presume you've seen the bands in the park schedule. Katie, you've got any more details or?
No, it's kind of self-explanatory really. The performances start 4th of May, the Salvation Army.
Yeah,
Runs more or less every Sunday throughout until the 21st of September.
Not
yeah,
on,
sorry, George.
not on your committee, but thank you for letting me talk. Will, as in the past, will you be looking for councillors to welcome the bands to the park throughout the schedule?
More than welcome.
It's been a call out in the past, and it's a very enjoyable thing to do for any councillors in the room.
Let's hope the 4th of May is a nice sunny day. May the 4th go with you.
I was waiting for that.
Right. Item 8, VE Day 80 anniversary on the 8th of May. Now, we've got all our, have you all seen this? You've all had it left with you, little bits of paper. So it looks like it's going to be fine. Again.
Thank you, Chairman. So on this one, Casey's done a really good poster there, designed for us. Just to remind on this is one of the Pageantry Office national events, so we've registered officially for this, like we did with the D-Day one and similar for the late Queen, there was one for the last Jubilee. So they do follow a very similar format. So the preferred option is this beacon, these official beacons as part of the National Trail. So we last had this for D-Day 80 last year, so this will be as outlined there, but we've shaped a day around the suggested agenda. So flag raising for the countries at 9 o'clock seems very early sometimes, so not many people about, but that is the official time. And then we've done a special exhibition here, and then what worked really well for the D-Day was the entertainment. So we've extended that a little bit. So we've got the Air Cadets, we've got the Lady Singer from that era that went down very well, particularly with some of the nursing homes here, with people coming down and the Legion people. And we've also got some children's entertainment, so it'll be timed after the school times. The good thing with that, a lot of it is weather safe, so we can do gazebos or things if we need to, and then followed by in the evening, just a short ceremony of put into Bustings again with the beacon.
Can I just add that our French twinning town are coming that very day from Voiron. They actually didn't know it was VE Day. So I told them, but it would be nice to have a sort of French theme for some of it. Presumably it's still there on the Friday. They're coming on that, they're riding on that Thursday evening. I told them, I'm actually going to Voiron myself 3 weeks on Wednesday. So I will mention it to them, but I think it'd be nice if they could be shown round our display and we had some sort of French theme linked to them. I was quite surprised they didn't know actually.
Yeah.
But the question they asked me, is it a national holiday? I said, sorry, no. So they're arriving at 6 o'clock, so I'll make sure they come to the beacon.
Right, anybody want to ask any questions about that? Yes.
Just a very quick comment actually for showing our French visitors around, because my understanding is that one of the things that they wanted to twin with us in Droitwich is because during the occupation of France, when you could be shot for listening to de Gaulle speaking through from Britain, to tune in and hear de Gaulle, you had a radio like the ones in our museum where you turn the dials till you got the word Droitwich, and that was the reason apparently they were keen to twin with us. So I think it might be quite nice to show them that as well.
Yes.
Yes.
My last weekend as mayor, so I shall make sure I make sure.
Yes. Yeah. Right, anybody else got any comments on that? No? Fine.
Oh, yeah, just
Yeah.
a little bit about, I'm interested in the Punch and Judy, if somebody wants to tell me a little bit more about the wartime Punch and Judy.
I guess that'll be down to me. It's a local man that we booked from Cheltenham, and he said he'll do a half an hour Punch and Judy. It'll be themed around the wartime, so he'll have obviously facts and information to be able to share with children.
A lot of people will never have seen a Punch and Judy. I think as long as they don't cut out the violence, you've got to keep the violence.
Presumably they'll use real guns, you know.
Wife beater. Oh, goodness sake. Right, so we'll carry on then. Right, item 9, St Vincent's de Paul Society. Update information provided in the attached letter received dated on the 14th of December. Yes, I've read that letter, it's a nice letter.
It's a nice letter, Chairman, and it acknowledges the score. I don't know if members can remember that Gina Kane
Yeah.
spoke at one of the committee meetings. They applied for the grant, so really they've done everything that we've asked. They've updated us about to spend some of that money.
Item 10, installation of an additional dog waste bin. To consider a request for a new bin to be supplied and installed with the requisite servicing contract for cleaning and emptying. You like to?
Yes, Chairman, thank you. This one, Councillor Clements was approached by a constituent on this. Seems a reasonable request. The difference on this one is it will be on town council land, so I need Whichehaven just to do a feasibility check on it, but we suggest a big bridge on the allotment side of Copcock Park, so just off Colford Walk there. You know, it's a busy area, there's a lot of people are discarding this in tractors and things, so the pricing's on there. If members are happy, we can just proceed with that. So that's installation, supply and the cleaning and emptying,
Yes.
Just a quick, I'm not on this committee, but Mark, I've got another request for you for a bin as well. I'll send you the details.
We've got CNA next month as well, so we'll add it onto that one.
I'll email you the details.
So if members are happy with this one,
Yeah.
second one, okay.
Can we have a proposal, sir? Obviously, thank you. A seconder, please. Yes, councillor Flax.
And all in favour?
And all in favour?
Thank you.
Right, item 11, community banking hub. Working within the existing collaborative mandate with the Place Board for the aspiration towards the community banking hub in Droitwich Park. You got any more details on this?
Yeah, it's just really for information, but to profile the questionnaire. I think members have seen the questionnaire. It's online. Do paper copies in here. If people want paper copies, because quite ironically, if people haven't got digital skills, perhaps older generations and things, for digital banking, they're not going to be able to do online questionnaires. So trying to cover every medium. As of Tuesday last week, I was with Councillor Sinton, the Mayor, and Councillor Dan Birch on this and Matt Nichol, and we've got over 1,000 responses within 4 days. What the aspiration is for 10,000 responses. No immediate timescale, but sooner the better would be good. So people can network this, because what it will do, it will provide evidence to help challenge Cash Network to overturn their decision, because their decision at the moment is that Droitwich does not need banking.
Just to say, I put it on the WhatsApp of my street last week, and an immediate response from nearly all my neighbours. I think it's something that really is needed, and I think we've put on record our thanks to Matt Nichol for really highlighting this, because he's doing a great job on this. I think we should support him as much as we can.
Been on the town council agenda since February last year, but it's ramped up because they did a survey again last September, but they're resolute on that cash access, which is not really meeting the need.
Yes, councillor Duffy.
In terms of getting paper copies out to those residents who are less likely to engage online, could we provide partners, well, other bodies in the town like DCBS or like the St Vincent de Paul Society, as they support a lot of our elderly in the town with paper copies to hand out to those that they support?
We can run smart, no problem.
That would bring the the rest homes that retired people can use it into, where they could have some as well.
I think they're thoroughly appreciated as well.
Yeah.
Just as for your reference, Mark, there's an interesting question on the video of Matt about GDPR. Somebody was asking how the information will be collated and maintained.
For questionnaires,
Yeah,
we're not asking people to give names or anything like that, or
Okay.
addresses, it's literally just postcode.
it might be worth somebody going on. Can you go on there, Richard, and just mention that?
Just suppose.
That's all it asks for.
Yeah, just to pacify people.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? No? Thank you. Item 12, dementia awareness training audits.
Three things on this, Chairman. So part A was to consider £500 for 2 extra sessions. This is dementia awareness training. So it's been done at CBS so far. The Mayor and Katie both attended that. Councillor Della facilitated it all. I think the demand has been very positive. So Councillor Della has asked if we would pay as a town council for 2 more sessions, that's 500. And part B is to basically gift the venue, which will be the community hall. So that's fairly nominal. It's £87 with a charity discount on there. So that's fine. The only reason we need a formal resolution on certainly the room hire one is because of the precedent setting, because we do have a policy that it's a fixed tariff with a 20% discount for charities. This will be an exception for that because it's for the benefit of all the community should they wish to attend those sessions. But it's important that we do recognise that in that decision.
Also, I attended with Katie, we attended the first of these, and it was quite a remarkable morning. I mean, everybody there had been touched as most bizarre by dementia at some point in some way, our relatives or friends, whatever. And I think that Rick is to be congratulated at Della on raising all this and raising this awareness. And I've got great pleasure in proposing these items. So I think it's very important that we pursue this. It's something I think that we're proud to be involved with this as a town, to make ourselves a dementia-friendly town. So I'm very much like to propose that we donate this money and the use of the community hall to the dementia awareness piece.
I'd just like to second that. I went to the second session with Kate was there as well, and it was very good. It was well presented, learned a lot, and I think it's vital for us all to sort of take forward in every way we can for the dementia training and sort of adaptation of the town, and I will happily second it as well.
Yes. All those in favour? Thank you very much indeed.
Chairman, just the last item on there, we didn't need a decision, but it was just to know that there is an audit. So it's a checklist, there's a copy of it. So that covers things like accessibility, signage, that it supports dementia awareness.
Yeah.
So what we've said on there is we will do that, certainly for here, because we've got the refit coming on for the museum this summer. We can look at it at the community hall and possibly the parks.
Yeah. Okay. Right, item 13, Holocaust Memorial Day in Droitwich Park, January 2026. Mark, would you?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So on this one, it's as outlined really on the agenda. Been approached by a resident who also spoke to Councillor Simpson, the Mayor, at the Worcester Holocaust Memorial Day in January. He would like us to consider this. I've asked you'll see from the attachment, some interpretation as to what his expectations are for Droitwich on it, which are quite involved when you look at the responses, basically to run and facilitate the event. That would not necessarily be within the remit of the town council to run the event, for the reason that we are multi-faith. So with global status events, world events, it's something that we need to support, but be very sensitive about as to the level of input. So my suggested approach is to meet with the chairman another member of the CNA committee, most likely, and myself, and invite Mr. Stallard in to see if we can work with him to achieve that for January next year.
Well, as I say, just to add that this is the Interfaith Forum, of which Jeff Stallard is the vice chairman, I think, that run this. All the local secondary schools are involved. My opinion is that for anybody younger than that, it's too much, too harrowing. This year was the 80th anniversary. It was a very moving occasion, and I could understand. But so I think they've got to look at it very carefully how we would pursue it within Droitwich. But perhaps we should get the council churches locally involved as well, or churches together. They can be involved too, because like you say, it's very much an interfaith thing. But he's very, very keen, as we know, and I think it's right that we should move forward with it and discuss it further. Yes.
Councillor Humphreys first, please.
Thank you. Just to sort of like follow on from that, from Councillor Sinton, it is actually covering all genocide and not just the Holocaust. So Holocaust Memorial Day is a much wider remit than just that, and I think that's something that does touch most faiths at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say that it was more of a race thing than a religious thing, and gypsies were a part of it. The Roma gypsies in Eastern Europe were also victims of the Nazi Holocaust.
So if there's no further questions on it, Chairman, propose and second for me to contact Mr. Stallard and ask for a separate meeting with him.
Can I have a proposer? Councillor Sinton did. Thank you, Councillor Morris, seconder. Thank you. All those in favour? Item 14, weekly charter market. Discussions have taken place in readiness for the annual renewal of the charter market, which coincides with the start of the municipal year, each April, to update the following details.
Just two quick things, Chairman. So, don't know if members saw the Standard on Friday. Headline, Sunday markets. So that was their mistake. We didn't do a press release. It's on the agenda this evening. But the actual narrative that followed that front page announcement was correct. So it's the second Saturday of each month, commencing in April. They're very keen, the operators, to do that in addition to the weekly Fridays. They trialled it around Christmas and they got good footfall in bad weather on a Saturday. It's a different mix of people that are in town. There's a lot of people work obviously on a Friday, so they're confident it'll go really well. So we've already agreed that with them on a trial basis and review it in December. But I think it should take off in the better months. Katie's done the road closure order and all that already, so we'll get some publicity through March. And then the second one was just, it's an annual thing, the Good Friday Walk of Witness, so that's churches together from the Sacred Heart, congregating on Victoria Square. It's Friday the 18th, it is a trading day, so the charter market will operate as it always has. 11 a.m. in the morning, but it works well because there's increased footfall. It's a popular thing.
Thank you. Any comments? No? Thank you. Community litter picking updates.
Just two or three things here really. Again, in contact with Sue, but litter picking signs, just to say, a policy of those have been produced, they're out there. Councillor Brooks has given some divisional fund for that. We arranged them to be printed locally, so that's all good. And it's this civic pride to encourage people to respect other people's efforts, keeping the area spotless really. And then the annual Great British Spring Clean, that's the 10th one this year, so litter picking squad know about that. They're doing a bag count for it, and it's really just to try and spread that word around the communities and through contacts. And then the third, Droitwich Scouts, they have been contributing a lot on the litter picking, working with the litter picking squad, and I think they're interested in support with a grant. So we're expecting to consider that
Yeah.
in the first meeting, which is second or third of April.
Yes.
Also, what we're going to do is promote the spring clean through social media, but we're also going to promote cleaning up the town ready for the Ripmouth Festival as well
Brilliant.
with that. So hopefully that'll get people taking pride in Droitwich.
Yes, Councillor Morris.
Yeah, because it's there, I'm going to declare an interest because I'm chair of George Third Scouts.
I must say, the litter pickers of Droitwich are our unsung heroes, and I think we should congratulate them for all the hard work they do, quietly, without any fuss. Thank you.
Can I-
Yes, Councillor.
Have you got an official name? Is it now the community litter?
It's Droitwich Scarlet as well.
Yes, Councillor
Can I
Duffy.
ask for yourself, do you have, litter picking equipment ready for volunteers if you get a large influx?
We asked for it last year and never got anything, which even.
Can I suggest that you, through the town council, put a formal request into Whitchaven, possibly to have them stored here and be picked up afterwards? I should think that'd be quite a fair request, though. As a district council, I'd certainly support that.
Right. Well, if that's all, I will close the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your patience.